Vishy Anand managed to break through his defenses. And
That means
there-
Vishy improved his score with what?
there
They
is
played 104
Vishy Anand.
games now.
That's great.
There they're coming. Yeah.
Wonderful. Welcome, Vishy Anand. So, the world champion defeated a former world champion, Veselin Topalov, and that looked like a very good game, Vishy.
Yes, definitely. I mean, this is one of these dream night offs that I get sometimes, and obviously I was very pleased. So
Yeah, Siemens suggested to jump to some moment in the middle game so that we don't have to talk about the opening and all the
that
Yeah.
the
all the
two would
refines.
jump to some critical middle game and not
yeah.
develop too much on the opening.
well, you guys know us quite well.
Yeah.
So
There's this queen that
I
came
wanted to
down.
go Queen G2, but then I couldn't make Bishop D6 work because obviously Queen G2, Bishop G2 followed by F4 should be nice for white, but I couldn't make Bishop D6 work. And also there's the little matter of Queen G2, Bishop G2, Rook C4 somewhere, which could be annoying. The point is, if white wins the D5 pawn, so something like this, then usually black has to win the H4 pawn at the same time. If something like this, Rook C4, then I would go F4. And now Bishop C5, Rook C4, the problem is you can't take the D pawn, so you take like this, take. Bishop C5, and I thought takes, Bishop D5, Bishop F2, and then H5 and B4, and maybe, it's a toss-up anyway, but with two connected pass pawns I'll have some chances. At least this is my general aim. At least with Queen C2 it was, because he could also take and play Bishop F8, and then we get a similar kind of position. But the problem with Queen C2, King C2 is he's open, since my C pawn is defended, I'm thinking of B4 in many lines. So he went Queen G3, and this was in fact plan B for me. I had seen F4, and the point is now I'm going to go for opposite colored bishops and make the case that with the bishop on D5 and a pawn on G5 I'm going to be better in every position, which is pretty much what happened. Queen H4, I was also considering Queen G2. I didn't see an obvious move for him because but it's very bizarre because after Queen G2 I actually found some remarkable move like this. And the point is Bishop E2, Bishop D6, so that Rook H1 can be met by Rook E2. And this is very important because if he moves the bishop, F5 wins, and if he doesn't move the bishop, Bishop E2 and Rook H1 wins. But this move is very annoying.
You can take on B5 and play Rook H1 then.
Where?
Before, instead of Bishop E2.
Rook D5.
Is it possible to take on B5 and play Rook H1?
Yes, Bishop B5, Rook B5, Rook H1. I thought Bishop takes G5 was like a minimum. It's possible, of course, Rook H1 and then Bishop takes G5 here. But there was even something a bit more concrete, let me see. If Rook B8, then Rook H1 works anyway. No, maybe this works. No, Rook B5, Rook H1, Queen H1, Queen H1, and Bishop A3 I thought will give him some compensation. And this is annoying.
Yes, before?
A5?
Before A5, the rook take on D5.
Yes, and then it's a draw.
Simply a draw, you can take, yeah.
Well, the point is, even if you win this b4 pawn, I think with rook on e6, it should be a kind of fortress. So, and there's also the second question, how you're going to win this. Because if you go queen b5, I have bc3. And so it's not even that easy. I mean, you don't really have a way of collecting. So these kinds of complications, I mean, I was going to go bishop g2 with the same rough idea. But it's something to think about. Bishop d6 actually seemed to me to be quite good. Again, I saw queen g2, but bishop f4, and I couldn't see anything. So we get to this position, and I felt that tactically with so many major pieces, the opposite color bishops don't really come into play. King g7, I went queen e4, he went, yes, I thought there's also bishop sideways, bishop b3 maybe. And if rook d4, queen d4, rook e5 check and rook f1 maybe. But maybe this is just a forced win. Yeah, something like this. I was seeing, I think, bishop b3, but okay, essentially same idea. It's probably winning. Bishop e6, of course, always, just like in the game, to take away the f5 square. So that's hard to think. But queen e3 was, of course, the move that worried me. And here it was a toss-up between queen g2 and queen h1. I still don't know which was better. I finally went queen h1 because I thought that the idea of queen g2 is also to go queen f1, and I didn't see the difference with queen h1. But here in some lines my back rank is covered. So he went rook d7, I went here. Now in fact queen e5 is the only move, because if queen e2 then bishop f3 wins. And if queen f2, there's a nice win. Rook f3. Sorry, it's not that trivial. If queen h2, then rook f4 wins. But if rook f3, then queen takes d4 exists. cd4, rook c1 check, queen c1, bishop c1. I thought here bishop c6 was necessary, because if bishop takes f7, then bishop g5 works. But I thought bishop c6 was promising, but anyway it wasn't clear to me that I would also not have queen e4 anyway. Just similar ideas to the game. So I mean, once my queen is on e4, we're really sort of dominating many squares. He went queen e5, and this suddenly opens up the possibility of these forks that happened in the game. So queen f3, because of course if I move my bishop now, rook takes d4 and queen f5 is still there. He went bishop h2, and here, despite the fact that bishop e6 is winning, I did it with some reluctance, because it seemed to me that bishop b3 could be just immediate collapse. The point is, after rook e7, rook e3, there is no defense. And if he goes rook here, I felt that king a2 and it'll just be made. But then I saw a queen and I thought, well, I should probably just take it. No, the reason I was reluctant to do this, because I thought this was serious technical problems. Because it's still a bit messy. I mean, if I go queen h1, he has to move the bishop somewhere, and then maybe a5, b4, and to actually liquidate. I mean, my next move will somehow be rook d5, but I still feel that perhaps bishop b3 was better. And just king a2, tuck it away, and then rook e4, rook d8 with idea queen a8, and so on. It's very tough to take this seriously for black. Bishop e6, I was very happy when he went rook e7, because the queen is actually just winning. But I was actually quite concerned that maybe I had found the wrong solution here. So I was not happy with this move. But of course, bishop e6 looks good on the demo board. So rook e7, then it's to be honest, he kept finding only moves here. I hadn't seen rook e4, then I hadn't seen bishop f4, but then I realized rook d7, we nail it, it's a zugzwang, and that's it. And that's basically it. In fact, there is no defense to rook a7, takes a6, and yeah, so that's it.
Well, very impressive. I think if you play a game like this can only mean that you're feeling well, and well, this shows good form, doesn't it? Or is that something which is too...
Well, I don't know. It's probably a bit early to get into that. But I think Well, it was my beloved Najdorf, so that's always nice.
You've been playing these lines for your whole life, and you've been winning so many games in these lines, haven't you?
Yeah, but Najdorfs are nice, so
for
that's
white.
always nice. Well, white and black. I've played many with both colors, of course, but Najdorf's always good to have.
Mm.
Well, you were slightly annoyed yesterday at the, well, let's say, the inaccuracy that you committed, but you've played the top 3 seeds so far. You got 2 out of 3. That can't be bad.
Yes, and of course it's nice we have a rest day tomorrow.
You already ordered some laurels to rest on them.
Well, it's good, but I mean, it looks like it's always you have to see who you're comparing your pace with. I mean, it seems to me Karyakin might just win his third.
Yeah, he's done that. Yeah.
Oh, he's won already?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
But
that's
it- but-
obviously, it's very hard to make a big case with 2 out of 3 then.
No,
But
no,
anyway.
but you.
But I'm obviously happy, and it
Yeah,
was,
and you mean having a rest day now? I mean, just okay to let's say analyze what you've done so far and to prepare for the next step. That's ideal. In fact.
yes, and also take some nice walks, have a nice sleep tonight, and so on.
Good. I think you deserve that. So I hope you have a great sleep and a great walk.
I can
And,
maybe ask you a question, because you played against Topalov 103 times, according to the chase space. This was on the 4th time. And
Yeah, I noticed actually for quite a few guys, when I was preparing for them, and you saw you make a database of the games and you sort it.
Yes.
Then I'm the number 1 opponent already for many guys. I'm the
like-
number 1 for Topalov. I may well be for Kramnik. I think for Gelfand as well, and Ivanchuk. I think I'm just number 1. I mean, in number of games. So yeah.
This guy you know so incredibly well, and you have a good plus score. It seems like you're the world champion simply because you're better than these guys that is the same generation as you. They're kind of similar, but you're the best. It seems. But
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
but there are but these are new guys. Wang Hao, Nakamura, and Carlsen. They seem to be quite different in their approach to chess, aren't they? Compared to, for instance, Kramnik, Topalov, and yourself, and Gelfand, for instance. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, Simon, you reminisce. I'm going. Take some rest. See ya.
Thank you. So that was world champion Vishy Anand, who won a beautiful game today and who is now going to, well, later going to